Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast. Back after a week off, it's UFC Paris, your main event. Benoit Saint-Denis, whose name you must say like that, taking on the money man, Renato Moicano. What's up, everybody? I'm Sniper. That's Monk. All 14 fights on this card. We're going to break them all down. We're going to throw in some DraftKings strategy, maybe a few bets here or there. Do me a favor. Before we get started, smash the like button down below. Share with your friends. Make sure you're in DFS Army in the Discord to get even more picks, plays, strategy, all the good stuff. Again, link down below on YouTube. Now that we got through that, Monk, what'd you do with your week off, man?
Well, the most exciting things ever. So basically just building my new UFC database. That's pretty much what I've been doing, getting all the round by round stuff. I'm actually ranking every single stat pretty much like Madden style. So it's interesting. It's going to let me do a lot of stuff going forward. I'm very excited for that, but not as excited as I am to have fights back in our life this week. Let's go. 11 a.m. card. It's going to be fantastic.
That is 12 on the East Coast, 11 Central, where the Monk Man is.
Yes, sir.
Let's pull up the fight card. 14 fights on this card. Like I said, the Monk pre-show, they're not protecting their Frenchmen. Some of these Frenchmen are in some rough spots. We are going to talk about it. It's funny because I'm about to do a little bit of a spoil here. There aren't many underdogs on this card to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
But the first two fights are probably my favorite two underdogs, which is just like, and then there's a third one I think I'm picking later. But the first, I remember when I break down the fights, do all my notes, I go top down, and I got through the first 12 fights, and I'm like, fuck, I got very minimal dog choices, and then I get to the first two fights of the night, and I go, oh, okay, I got enough to mess around with here. I'm an okay shit. I was legitimately worried. So let's start with Bolaji Oki and Chris Duncan. Oki is a minus 180 favorite. Duncan is plus 155. Your DraftKings salaries right now, Oki is 8,800. Duncan is 7,400. You scroll down. Let's look at our prop bets here. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 170, when indicating it is a pretty good fight to target. That being said, Monk, I think I kind of gave away who I'm picking in the fight. So let's start with you this week. Who you got, Oki or Duncan?
Yeah, well, good thing this is a DFS show because I don't have to find a bet because this was a terrible fight to bet on. I'm probably just gonna try to it's Duncan or fade for me, quite honestly. I mean, Oki's had one fight. What did he do? Is a split decision over the aforementioned before the show, Timmy Kwamba. 62 points is all he scored in that split decision win. Just 4 strikes a minute, 1 takedown, very minimal control time. So didn't really do much. Didn't do much there against Mr. Timmy Kwamba. The minus 170 or whatever you said inside the distance, man, that seems interesting. Only one of these guys UFC fights has ended inside the distance. That was Duncan against Manuel Torres, and Torres's killer be killed in the first 3 minutes. What the Yanal Ashmuz fight was that the one where he broke his hand?
I believe so.
And his left hand was just sitting there for 12 and a half minutes. So Duncan basically beat a one-armed man. Cool. Who is he? Harrison Ford.
That was
Omar Morales is probably terrible. So I don't trust Chris Duncan. I don't trust Bolaji Oki. I don't trust that this finishes inside the distance. So I'm going to look to fade this one. Overall, I'll have some Duncan and GPPs, but I'm not touching it in cash. I'm not interested. But yeah, it's Duncan or pass, and I hate playing Duncan. So there you go.
But even if it doesn't finish inside the distance, Bolaji Oki's hole that he's shown, grappling. Chris Duncan, is he the world's best grappler? No. Is he serviceable? Yes. Duncan hits hard. We saw it on Contender Series. Yes, it was a wild fight. Obviously hits hard. Can grapple. That is Oki's hole. I don't know why. I would think Duncan. I think this would be a pick 'em, honestly. I think I get some value on Duncan. I'm not really struggling for a bet for this fight if you made me, because plus 155 seems like value on Duncan in a fight that I think is pretty much a toss-up. Even in a toss-up, I think Duncan's got the more DFS upside for the finish potential, the grappling. Like Duncan all around, becomes, like I said, I only have 3 favorites on the card I really am targeting, and this is one of them. So I'm going to go with Chris Duncan being my preferred play in all formats. I figured out a quick way to get back to the screen I was on, and I did it. Look at that. 2 weeks off. I remember how to navigate Fight Odds.io. Fight number 2 we got to talk about here. Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Nora Cornolle. Cavalcanti minus 200. Cornolle plus 170. DraftKings salaries is... Oh, see, I can't navigate my screen. God damn it. Cavalcanti's 8,700. Cornolle is 7,500. Our odds for prop bets. Fight goes to decision minus 325. That's usually an indication of dog or pass for DFS. Even if I wasn't picking Cornolle, which I'm going to get to in a second, Cavalcanti is just, I'm not paying that price on a 14 fight card, minus 325. I don't think she's going to wrestle. Like I have a hard time finding ways to play her when there are many other pay up options I would prefer. That being said, Nora Cornolle, we're just going to keep on underestimating her. We're just going to keep on plus 170. That I'm not sure I'm getting that one, guys. Cool. Like, I don't think is Cavalcanti that good? I don't think so. Cornolle is explosive. We've seen the power. I just think it's a low-level women's MMA fight. I'll take the more explosive physical fighter, which I think is Cornolle. Could Cavalcanti be more technical? Sure, but I'm not sold that she's a great fighter, going to be at the top of this division. So I'll go with the fighter 1, Cornolle, fighting at home with more explosiveness, who is cheaper. More upside. Like, I just, Nora Cornolle probably is my favorite underdog on the card, which is dicey, and it's not an all-in play because it is low-level women's MMA. Let's make the qualifier there. But definitely an underdog I am targeting as well before the string of favorites I'm about to pick. Muck, what do you got?
Yeah, and I promise the rest of the card won't be like this because I said fade the first one. I'm not interested in this fight, man. I'm picking Cavalcanti. She's too expensive, so I have no interest in playing that. Her volume is off the charts compared to Cornolle. 8.4 strikes a minute over 15 minutes against Zara Farron. 6 strikes a minute against Josiane Nunes. And before you say, well, those two opponents are shit, well, Nora Cornolle lost to Jocelyn Edwards, somehow got the win. And then she fought Melissa Mullins, who gives a shit. So, yeah, I mean, she did show the power, but, I mean, she landed 2.6 strikes a minute against Edwards, 73 points in that win, and then got the 70-point bonus there for the second round finish over Mullins. I'm not expecting a finish here. And I do expect the volume of Cavalcanti to probably wear on Cornolle a little bit. But the main reason I'm not playing this is Cavalcanti so far in 2 fights. What is it? Yeah, 30 minutes has allowed 1.23 DraftKings points a minute, which is basically 0. So for Cornolle to pay off her salary, I think she's got to get a very early finish, which I don't see happening. And since I don't see that happening, I don't want to play this fight. So I'm going to be fading it personally, but I'll be picking the favorite.
Yeah, if you're on Cavalcanti, then this fight sucks for DFS.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the favorite a little bit more for the reasons I outlined, and we will see what happens. We don't always agree, which is good. Otherwise, the show would suck.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, this fight, I'm glad you're going first. This is the fight I probably have had the hardest time getting a read on. It's Daniel Barez taking on Victor Altamirano, mostly because I don't think either guy's really very good. Altamirano is the favorite now at minus 125. Barez is plus 105. Your salaries at the moment, you get a little bit of value in Altamirano as he was cheaper on DraftKings at 7,800. Barez is 8,400 at the moment. Prop bet fight goes to decision minus 260. Couple of flyweights in there. Mug, I don't see much reason to target this one. How about for you? I think it's going to be 3 straight fights you're down on, but it's okay this week because we got 14 fights in the card.
Well, it's actually not true, and I'd love to go into it because I do like one side of this, but actually I might. My whole Excel just crashed. I'm reloading it right now, which might take another 30 seconds. Without looking at the numbers, I do like Altamirano. I do need dogs on this card, especially because I like one.
It's going to be chalky as fuck.
Probably 3,
yeah. I'll stall for you for a second.
Oh, I'm good now.
7,800 minus 125. Chalk.
Yeah.
Especially in case it's chalk.
And I want it. I want that
Gobble it up.
because I want the 4 points a minute. I want 111 per win. Yeah, those wins were against guys like Lacerda, like Vinicius Salvador.
Yeah, let's hang
Daniel
on to the
Barez,
wins.
yeah, well, Daniel Barez is not Tim Elliott. He's not even probably Carlos Hernandez or Dos Santos. I don't think Barez is too great. I think he showed a little bit, but I didn't really get to see much. I think he was winning that Filo fight in the first 2 minutes until he all of a sudden wasn't, and then it went very downhill very, very quickly for Barez. Altamirano, he's a little firecracker in there, man. He's landing takedowns. He's not the most volume, but in his first 2 fights, over 5 a minute. The Lacerda fight didn't last very long, but in 3.5 minutes, he landed 58 fucking strikes, over 4 strikes a minute against Salvador. So the volume is there. He's tough as shit, Altamirano. I don't think he's only been finished, it looks like, once in his career, and that was not in the UFC. So I like Altamirano. I know he's going to be chalky, but 7,800, it is what it is, man. If he wins, he needs 90 to 12x, or what is it, 92, something like that. I think he can do that, and that's all you need. You don't need 100 points with this 7,800 guy. So I'm getting Altamirano in there. I guess I'll play Barez in GPPs, but not too much. I like Victor to get the win here.
Minus 260 to go to decision. Barez is the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah, he basically crushed cans on the regional scene. He's here. He's not looked good. Altamirano's up and down. Can't really get a read on him. I think my big problem with wanting to play him, you alluded to it in your, not granted, but in your argument for him, is he's beating a bunch of shit. I guess Barez isn't much better, but I think Barez is going to be a little bit tougher to finish than those guys. I just don't know about the scoring upside, and I'm a little bit turned off by how many people are going to play Altamirano. I'll mix him in a little bit. I'm not saying fade him, but not one of my favorite targets. Is my pick for the fight. I do think he is better than Barez, I think, in most areas of this fight, which will be interesting. Wouldn't mind probably a bet on Altamirano at minus 125, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to next fight up. We got to talk Eileen. I shake my ass a ton. Perez, and you know what? I don't hate it. Everybody's mad at her. Shake
Either does Marab.
Be happy. Just be happy. Take it on Daria Zheleznyakova. But I'm going to call her Daria the rest of the time because I said it once, even twice, and now we're done with it. Perez is minus 225 right now. Daria is plus 190. Your DraftKings salaries for this one, we have to go with 9,100 for Eileen Perez, 7,100 for Daria. Your fight ends at the distance prop. Fight goes to decision prop is minus 225. Should see the scorecards, but the way Perez fights, if she wins because she wants to grapple, the prop doesn't matter a whole lot. She's going to score well if she wins because she just spams takedowns. When I went to break this down, I really, really wanted to pick Daria. I was like, all right, this is the spot. Perez has her holes. Okay, here we go. Let me look. God damn it. And I got Daria, and I'm like, she's bigger. She's like 4 inches taller. Big girl, and I'm like, I don't think she can stop a takedown. Okay. Nope. So I'm on Perez. I do think she is the play here. That being said, similar to earlier, this is another low-level fight. I said it for the dog when I picked Cornolle. I'm going to say it here too because it's similar. These low-level fights are more variant. They just are. So I'm not going to fade Zheleznyakova at this price tag. I do think Perez has got sneaky upside. It may not be sneaky because of the logs. I'm wondering if people are going to hop off here. I'm waiting to see all the tweets after the weigh-ins with how much bigger Daria is, because I at least when I'm reading and what I've seen, and I have not seen them side by side yet, I think it's going to be pretty significant. I still think Perez takes her down, controls her, beats her up, probably puts up a pretty big score. So I'm on Eileen Perez. And I expect to see some twerking here on Saturday afternoon. How about for you, Monk?
Yeah, right after our morning croissant and a twerk. That'll be nice for the French people. Well, I guess it won't be morning there. Who knows? They might eat croissants all freaking day. I have no idea. I'm big on Perez this week. Look, man, I'm sick of fading her. I've been fading her Trying to fade her anyways. Let's just, by fade, I mean I haven't been going as big as I should, that's for sure. And it's really bitten me. I mean, 140 against Evan Smith. I mean, I didn't really fade her in that one. 109 in her last one against Edwards, which was very good. Look, she's landed 17, 18, 19 takedowns in 4 fights. And Zheleznyakova got taken down 3 times by Rendon in her last fight. So yeah, I think the over-under on price picks for takedown for Perez is like 4.5, if that tells you anything. So yeah,
that's a big fucking number.
That
is alarming.
Play Perez. She's going to land several takedowns. Is probably going to decision. In fact, we probably want this to go to decision. Rinse and repeat takedowns, tons of control time. She does like to land those non-significant strikes, which boost her points up tremendously. So yeah, 9,100 I think could be a steal this week if Daria can't stuff takedowns. And it turns out it looks like she can't stuff takedowns.
All right, let's move on. Move right along. Taylor Lapilus taking on Vince Morales. Lapilus minus 365. Morales is plus 290. Your DraftKings salaries. I got to go to the top of the sheet because Lapilus is expensive. 9,300. Okay. Vince Morales is 6,900. Your fight goes to decision prop is minus 275. Hey, Monk, how you paying 9,300 for a guy with that inside the distance prop who is okay at fighting?
Yeah, it turns out I'm not. I'm not.
Same.
I'm not paying for this fight at all.
This was in my notes. I mention it every week. This was my fuck this fight.
Yeah,
and there are women's fights on this card. I was still like,
right,
fuck this fight.
I mean, even Morales at 6,900 is like, well, but no, not really. Like, these guys average both when they win. All right, Lapilus 76 points, Morales 77 points. When they lose, Lapilus gives up 75 points. Morales gives up 75 points. Nobody fucking scores in these fights. Nobody wants to score more than like 2.5 points a minute from any angle, from at any time. And if you've ever seen a Taylor Lapilus fight, first of all, sorry. Second of all, it's fucking terrible. This dude is like 2 strikes a minute, basically. And that's a little bit of hyperbole because I'm looking at the numbers and it's over that in this past couple of fights, but that is all he is doing. This is basically the for the Israel Adesanya school of fighting. Like, if you don't get a first round, second round finish, you're not going to score well, even if you win, because all you do is throw significant strikes and not a lot of them. So yeah, I'm going to go fade on this one. And I don't trust like Vince Morales at all. So yeah, give me the fade on this one overall.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't really need to reiterate much of what you just said. I think Lapilus is better. I think this fight's going to suck for DFS. And I'm going to move on about my day. This is 14 fight. I'd have trouble with this fight on a 12 fight card.
No
14
kidding.
fights, and the guy I'm picking is 9,300. Fuck you. I will say the best thing about this fight for DFS, feet to the fire. And when I start building, I have not had a chance to start building this week. Just had things going on. I've done my research. Haven't started to build yet like I usually have when we do these. I would assume Vince Morales in cash is attractive looking at 6,900. I would prefer him over Roosevelt Roberts, Gabriel Miranda, and Woon Jung, and William Gomis, and probably Daria Zheleznyakova.
Probably on paper I would, but
who's the punt down here? Who's the punt?
Well, I'll get to him. You're going to disagree with me.
You're going to say Woon Jung, but yeah. Look this way: in the fights that they lose, say they both lose, the fights go the way of the favorite. In those fights, who's got a better floor? I think it's Morales, no question, because Woon Jung could be in his back for 14 minutes, like not scoring anything.
That's true.
Whereas
but one of these guys
is Morales going to get
UFC.
Yeah, but if you're going to pick them, that's different. If there's a dog down here that you're picking to win, different story. You expect all the favorites to win. I mean, is Vince Morales really going to get sparked out here by Taylor Lapilus?
Fuck no.
I don't. So, I mean, that's what I look at for cash games. You want to be more aggressive and you got a dog you like? Sure, go for it. But, I mean, seems pretty safe, but what do I know?
You're probably right. No, it's a very unattractive low end, this like super unattractive, which sucks because, like I said, I managed to build a cash lineup with 3 9K guys and a respectable amount of dogs, I think, but it's rough.
But you played Woon Jung. We'll get there.
That's true.
2 fights. Let's talk Ludovic Klein and Roosevelt Roberts, and we'll get to Woon Jung quickly because, okay, here we go.
Right.
Ludovic Klein opened. That can't be right. That's an error.
No.
Yeah, that's not right. All the other numbers are right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Ludovic Klein currently on BetOnline is minus 950, minus 1250 over at FanDuel. Roosevelt Roberts is between plus 650 and buy your kids a new car. That is the official prop on him. Klein 9,600 on DraftKings. Comeback on Roberts is 6,600. Fight inside the distance minus 210. Ludovic Klein inside the distance minus 190. Agree with all of that. I don't know how you play Roosevelt Roberts. Ludovic Klein was better than him before USADA went away, and we just saw what Ludovic Klein looked like last fight. Holy fucking shit. He's found the fountain of youth and Mexican vitamins. So give me Ludovic Klein. Play him in all formats where you could fit him. The price tag is the issue. I will say I do think he's a better play than up in this top range. All right. What do you consider the top range? You want to make me compare him against 9K and above, or like the very, very top of like the top 4? What should I do?
Yeah, 9K and above is fine.
So Benoit Saint-Denis will get there is probably a better play, and then it's a toss up between I think Ludovic Klein and Umar C, who we're going to get to. For me, Monk will strongly disagree with that, but I think those are your 9K heavier targets this week. So the problem is, like I said, not a lot of dogs I like, and 9,600 is fuck. So you're probably, I think you almost have to play Ludovic Klein in cash. I think, and then it's who you punting down with and filling around. And in GPPs, you can make the case. Game theory, it's hard to fit him in, hard to build lineups. Most expensive guy is always overowned. Sure, I'm going to try to still get overweight on Ludovic Klein. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to try and do it. Monk, who do you got?
Obviously, I'm on the Klein side. I don't know why this fight is made. It really doesn't make any sense. Everyone with eyeballs has seen what Klein looks like, and I don't mean physically. I mean what he looks like in the cage. He's on a fucking crazy run.
This is why.
He just beat fucking... Oh. Well, what the fuck was he doing fighting Nicholas Mata? This dude just beats Tiago Moises, right? And now he's fighting.
Talking about a step down for Nora Cornolle. What would this line have been? Were there lines in this fight?
I don't know. Durand to me looked awful in her last fight.
Yeah, Nora Cornolle is less of a dog to Jermaine Durand to me than Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I don't get that. But sorry, I digress. Back to Klein.
See it. Yeah, I don't see why Klein beats Moises and now is fighting Mata / Roosevelt fucking Roberts. Like, what are we doing here? Klein's gonna smash him. He's fine to play in all formats. I'm personally going to be. There's somebody I will be talking about that I'll probably be heavier on in that 9K range, and I like my 9K fighters because I think from what you said, it's going to be different than the ones that you named. But yeah, don't overthink this. The one thing I will say is Klein doesn't really pay off his salary too much. I mean, obviously he did against AJ Cunningham, which another fight that probably shouldn't have been made, but only a third of his wins are over 100 points. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm kind of not going all in. He could win and score 80.
Oh, yeah. I guess I think he's going to put up a big ass number, but
well, he's 76 against Mason Jones, 85 against Nacho, 89 against Moises.
It's Roosevelt Roberts.
Yeah,
that's my simple retort there, sir. All right, let's move on. Let's talk Umar C and Woon Jung. Line on this fight: C is minus 625. Woon Jung is plus 450. C is 9,400 on DraftKings. Jung is 6,800. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 210. And C wins inside the distance is minus 160. Monk, I know you got the hot take for this one, so you go first.
Well, I'm looking at this dude's Tapology, Omar C.
Oh, wicked capping. very technical.
Well, no, just at first, he's beaten 3 guys that are 0-0. One guy's 1-0, 2-0. 19-8 was Henrique da Silva. Alcantara was 26-17. He was supposed to fight world beater Antonio Tricoli, but that didn't happen. And then he beat Tuco Tucos. Who gives, like, he should be doing this against these guys. He's fighting nobodies. He's landed 0 strikes in the UFC, and this was over almost 4 minutes. I'm not going to pay $9,400 in a ton of roster spots for a guy that has done basically nothing so far against, I don't care what you think about him, a guy that has, let me get this exactly right, several UFC fights, 8 of them to be exact. He does have a winning record, 4-3-1, and his last 3 losses outside of the Devin Clark, which a lot of people hate on, I actually don't think that's a terrible loss. He lost to Dustin Jacoby and Carlos fucking Olberg. So other than that, I mean, he beat Kennedy Nchukwu in 3 minutes. So he definitely has, and he has a 77% takedown defense, which we talked about before the show. He outcontrols all of his opponents in the fight. Well, outside of he was basically neck and neck with Olberg there. But outside of that, man, if you don't have like good striking like Jacoby, like Olberg, Woon Jung's not losing to you. And Umar Sy has negative good striking. In fact, some would call it probably bad striking because he didn't attempt any, and he hasn't fought anyone. So while I think he's probably going to win, I'm picking the underdog straight up, and I'm playing him. I'm using him as a punt play in cash and GPPs. This is going to allow me to get to my 9K guys that I really want to get to, that I think can really exploit their opponents. And if Woon Jung gets a win, even if this goes into the 2nd or 3rd round, he's going to put up a serviceable number. That's 6,800. That is all I'm looking for. So if Sy comes out and stomps, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. And I'll rethink things for next time, but I don't trust it.
A point taken on that he's young, but I think it's pretty clear he's a better grappler. I think he's a better grappler than Devin Clark, who beat and controlled Woon Jung. Yeah, Woon Jung has out-controlled William Knight, who you could take him down.
Well, he out-controlled Devin Clark, too.
But he got taken down 3 times and beaten to Devin and was beaten by Devin Clark. I don't
think Devin Clark's as bad as everybody else does.
No, that's fine, but I think C's a better grappler. I think stylistically,
who's the better striker? There's not a question.
Right, Woon Jung will be the better striker, but I don't think this fight takes place there. And I think that's the argument. If Woon Jung can stop these takedowns, obviously live for the fight. I don't think he can. I like Umar Sy quite a bit because of the style, the upside with the grappling finish. I'm going to have a significant amount of Umar Sy in this spot. It is one of the spots where me and Monk differ. You want full coach's notes, more good stuff, go check out the DFS Army notes. Make sure you're a member. Sign up.
Yeah, mine will be I actually have tomorrow off. I usually don't, so I'm going to be posting them. I'll post them maybe tonight. But usually I do them at work, so I got to make sure to do them before the morning. So mine will be up tonight or first thing in the morning.
Mine are up. We are locked and loaded, ready to go. So, and there's more opinions. It's a domination station.
Yep.
We differ on this one. I'm on Umar Sy. Monk is not. And one of us will probably be talking shit next week. So
there we go.
Let's see how things go. All right, let's go ahead and let's go to next fight. We have to talk about this. This should be fun. Ivan Cutelaba. I mean, Cutelaba let us down last time, but I blame what's his face, Felipe Lins. His just cancer for exciting fights. Fuck that guy.
No kidding.
Fuck him. Take it on Ivan Erslan. Erslan's the favorite right now at -119. Cutelaba is -101, so pretty much a pick 'em. DraftKings salary, 8,300 for Cutelaba, 7,900 for Erslan, so some slight line movement there, which I do agree with. But most importantly for this fight,
yes,
let's see.
The big number.
Fight ends at the distance is -600. Under 1.5 rounds is -160. Just load the fuck up. This should be full of variance. I actually think, but Cutelaba's fall off is what has me picking Erslan. I don't think Erslan's going to let him get away with a boring style like Linz did. I don't think they're going to be patient. I think these dudes are going to fucking throw, and it should be fun. Give me Ivan Erslan. I'll have this in basically all of my lineups in GPP, and none of it. It's a high variance fight. Just play it the way you're supposed to in terms of GPP strategy, and move on about your day. Monk, who you got?
Agreed. Minus 600 is crazy. Cutelaba is like a Dodge Challenger with the fucking governors taken off. Like, he can go 260 miles an hour, but he could also crash and flip into a like on the takeoff. So that's just the kind of fighter Cutelaba is. We should see extreme. He's usually very, very high output, over 4 points a minute, over 6.4 points a minute inside the distance. So don't let the wild swings fool you. The dude definitely can wrestle, and he averages almost 110 per win. So I'm really liking him this week against the newcomer Erslan. I just generally, debuting fighters against seasoned, super seasoned vet like Cutelaba. Yeah, he's wild. Yeah, he's untrustable. Yes, his IQ is probably fight IQ, I will say, is probably not the best.
I don't think he's super smart.
Take probably out. It's not the best. Yeah. So usually it's hard to trust those guys, but against a newcomer, I'm taking my chances here. So it's strictly GPP, no cash for this one. And I hate that the odds value, we've lost all of our odds. Well, what little odds value we might have had on Cutelaba is now gone. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But for GPP, you got to play this one because Cutelaba's killer be killed.
Absolutely. Let's move on. We got the main card coming up now. Matt the Steamroller Frevola loses to Benoit Saint-Denis and decides, I'm going to go to your home country and try and beat up one of your countrymen. Taking on Perez Ziam. Frevola is the dog plus 112. Ziam's the favorite at minus 132. Your salaries right now, it's the mid-range fight. Frevola is 8,200. Ziam is 8,000. Your prop bets here, fight ends into the distance. It's a 50-50 fight. That is 50-50 to end inside the distance. So a lot to cover here, Monk. What you got?
Man, this one's kind of hard to pick. Looking at it right off the top, it's like, okay, well, Frevola is probably the DraftKings play. I don't think there's much argument there. These salaries are so close that it's pretty negligible which one you play if you're just going on salary. So Frevola, in my opinion, has the much higher upside because the first round finish is there, obviously. And the first round in all 5 of his last 5 fights, the longest one lasted 4.1 minutes. So that's at 4 minutes and whatever, 6 seconds, something like that. I don't know. Not very long is the point. Perez Ziam seems to be the complete opposite of that. Almost all of his fights go to decision, especially in the UFC, I should say. Lots of split decisions. He rarely scores well. He beat Luigi Vendramini and scored 46. He scored 96 against Figlak, which is like scoring 150 for anybody else. 69 and 65 against Herbert and Puella. So while he's winning 4 of 5, he's one of those guys that all he does is strike. Like I said, he has landed 4 takedowns, 3 against Figlak and 1 against Herbert. That's not really what he's out doing, though. I just don't see it with Ziam. Even if he wins, I don't think he scores well unless he kills Frevola in the first. But I think the odds are on Frevola to do that to him if anybody's going to do it. So give me Frevola and GPPs.
Yeah, it's for me the same reason why Frevola is a better DFS play is why I'm picking him. I think he could wrestle if he chooses to. He's got more power in his hands, more upside there. That also just pushes who I'm going to pick slightly towards him. This is a medium fight because it also could be the way ZM fights is not DraftKings goal. It's 50-50. It could be striking for a little bit. It's not one to load up on despite Frevola's, the game log you may look at. I'm going to pick Frevola. There is some upside there. I don't love ZM. Close fight, but a medium one to target as well, despite those who might just look at the game logs. That is not the way to go here, but I will pick Frevola for the reasons that I had mentioned.
Plus, that's a Ray Longo fighter, man. I gotta root. How can you not root for
Natty!
a Ray Longo fighter?
Natty, he
put
fucking
on his
sucks.
fucking chest. I fucking love Ray Longo, man.
How could you not love Ray
Longo?
Not?
Yeah.
If you don't like Ray Longo, fuck you. All right, Let's move on. Let's talk about Morgan Charriere taking on Gabriel Miranda. Charriere is minus 700. Yippee. Miranda's plus 500. Charriere is... Where's the prices here? Way up there, 9,500. Miranda is 6,700. Your fight ends inside the distance is minus 250, meaning you should probably want to target this one for DraftKings. And I still just don't want to load up because I'd rather play Klein or C. Honestly, Look, Charriere is a minus 700 favorite. He is a French prospect. He lost to Shepe last time out. He's lost 10 fights in his pro career. While this is minus 250 here, it's also like minus 165 to go over 1.5 rounds. We are not expecting a quick fight. I just, something tells me, and Miranda, I don't think he's that bad. This is one of those I don't trust Morgan Charriere as a favorite. At this price. I have a really hard time getting behind it. Am I going to pick him to win? Yeah, I think he's a little better. But minus 700 better? I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing something. I think there are some issues here. I think Miranda can keep this fight close. I think he's live to win it. I'm not going to fade Miranda. I'm going to fade Roberts and probably be way under to Woon Jung and William Gomis, who we're going to talk about. But Miranda, he's one of the ones I think could shit in the apple cart of the French fans. I do not trust Morgan Charriere at all. Monk, who you got?
Well, I'm going the opposite. I do trust Charriere here. I do trust minus 700 because Gabriel Miranda's probably not good.
You said probably. Charriere's good?
He's just probably not good. Yeah, Charriere, his problem is he doesn't, and I forget who said that on a show, but I completely agree this week. 9 of his 10 losses are decisions, and most of those are split decisions, which means he doesn't know how to win fights that go long. Now, Gabriel Miranda, what he doesn't do is stay in fights that go long. So I'm not too worried about that, to be quite honest. This needs to be a show out for Morgan Charriere. He's fought the much better competition overall in his career. Gabriel Miranda obviously beat lost to BSD.
Exactly. Come on.
Yeah, but he beat Shane Young, so those two things cancel the fuck out because you're like, who's Shane Young? Exactly. So yeah, give me Morgan Charriere. I'm going huge on Charriere, especially in cash. He's the one over Ludovic Klein that I'm taking. He's the one that's shown that he can put up good scoring in his DraftKings, because he put up 110 against Zucchini, and Miranda's probably like one level above that. I honestly think that Miranda's a killer be killed fighter, and if you're giving me that against a French guy that should win in France on making his debut on the main card, I don't mean UFC, I mean his main card debut, I'm going to Charriere. I think he smashes Gabriel Miranda this week.
To be fair, Miranda's lost 6 times, 4 by decision.
Yep, so he loves to lose.
Yeah, but could stay in fights.
Yeah, but he ain't winning. He's won.
He's never
won more decisions than Miranda has, who has 0 decisions.
All right, let's move on. Look, we disagree in 2 spots. Crazy.
Oh, it's going to get even better in a minute.
Is it?
Oh, wait, no, we already did that one.
We did that one. Kevin Jousset taking on Brian Battle. Jousset, he's a dog, plus 144. Battle is minus 164. Battle, who has completely changed personality since being on Tough, which I always find hilarious. Good on him, though. 8,500 for Battle, 7,700 for Jousset. But what this comes down to, let me pull up our prop bets here. Fight goes to decision, minus 200. Monk, what you got?
He did really change personalities, didn't he? He was Pooh Bear, and now he's the Butcher. So what the fuck? What are we doing here? Honestly, this is probably, I can't say for sure, but without looking, my last dog of the card. I'm picking Kevin Jousset. I like a bunch of 9K guys, as I said a couple of times, I need a little balance, and Jousset's going to be my balance point. Beat Kiefer Crosby, meh. Beat Song Kanon, gets more and more impressive, by the win for Song Kanon. Brian Battle lost to Renat, beat Sato early. That was a huge score. Then he beats Gabe Green super early. AJ Fletcher. These guys are either towards the end of their career or not having a career. So he fights Ange Lusa. He was beating his ass for the most part, I think, until he got poked in the eye. Clear.
Ange quit. That was one.
That's what I mean. Battle was whooping his ass.
Yeah, Ange looked for a way out. That would have been a beatdown.
It would have been. But even if he gets that finish, 88 points is all he scores in that fight, which was surprising to me because, like I said, I was under the impression from the eye test that he'd done more than he was actually doing.
If he gets the finish, he probably gets a knockdown at some point, some more strikes.
Well, yeah, but yeah, if it would have stopped there with the eye poke, for whatever, he gets the 70 points. That's right. So we're still pretty far off from 100. either way, I just what did you say this one was to go to decision plus or minus 200?
Minus 200.
Then give me the dog. Kevin Jousset, he's a much more technical fighter, in my opinion. And even if he doesn't win, I think he puts up a respectable number that if he goes all 15, and he scores 4.3 points a minute, while Brian Battle gives up 4 points a minute and is allowing, what did he allow against Renat? Like 129. I mean, he did allow 7 takedowns and was controlled for the entire fight. Jousset doesn't have that game exactly, but he's the much better striker. 9 strikes a minute against power puncher Song Kanon. Very impressive.
Yeah, I agree, but disagree. I'm picking Battle. I think Battle's a little better, but I think Jousset's actually got more DFS upside because if someone does grapple, it's likely Jousset. We should see a striking-based fight. I think Battle wins that. I'm going to be underweight to this fight, honestly. I don't really want a ton of it, but the pick for me is Battle, but it's one of the ones not much interest in.
Yeah.
No. Fight I do have interest in, Joe Anderson Brito taking on William Gomis. I said it before the podcast, and I'll say it again for everybody here. Hey, UFC, you're supposed to protect your prospects fighting at home. William Gomis being fed to the wolves here, in my opinion. Joe Anderson Brito, minus 300 on Bovada. Gomis is plus 250. DraftKings salaries, Brito is, where is it? 9,200. Gomis is 7,000. Fight ends inside the distance is actually minus 125. I think there's a little bit of value there, quite honestly. I think this is a terrible matchup for William Gomis. I think Brito is a solid play in all formats. He's more explosive. I think he's just better. I think he's just better. Does Gomis have heart? Sure. I think Brito can hurt him on the feet. I think he can grapple him. I have a hard time finding past the victory for William Gomis. I like Joe Anderson Brito quite a bit. I think he's got sneaky finish potential as well. Give me Brito in all formats. Monk, you going to talk me out of this one?
No, I'm picking Brito. I am concerned. William Gomis doesn't give up any points. So he doesn't score any points. He doesn't give up any points. He is a black hole of DraftKings points. Like you never want to target that. 79 in his win against Aaron's. Aaron scored 10. 41 in his win. We'll round up. 42 in his win against Francis Marshall, who scored 27, and then 69 against Giannis Gamori, who scored 18. So none of the total number between him and his opponent isn't even close to 100 points. Generally, I'm fading Gomis fights, but how can you fade fucking Joe Anderson Brito, man? I mean, the Feely fight was crazy. First round against Alexander, first round against Weston Wilson. Not the best name. Second round against Jonathan Pierce, very good. And second round against Jack Shore, another very good. It's KO and subs. It's Jack everywhere.
Jack Shore win is super impressive to me.
Dude, yeah. I was a big Jack Shore guy. I think he's super talented, and that was very impressive. And he's scoring very well outside of the Jonathan Pierce fight, which was a sub, only 86 points. It's 101, 108, 104, 130 against Feely. Again, I'm very nervous about how many points William Gomis gives up. I also understand Joe Anderson Brito is going to be an extremely popular name this week. And for that reason, I'm going to look to be, for those reasons, I'll look to be under the field on Brito, though I do think he wins. We'll be cheering for him, and I hope he smashes Gomis. I'm honestly sick of seeing Gomis, man. You said, what did you say at the beginning? Aren't you supposed to baby your French fighters at home? They've been babying this motherfucker for 3 fights. Jarno Aarons, Francis Marshall, and Giannis Gamori. Finally, he gets an opponent, and he's going to get smashed.
Having it in France, though, is okay.
Yeah,
all right,
that is questionable.
Let's tackle Nassourdine Imavov and Brendan Allen. Imavov minus 210. Allen plus 180. DraftKings salaries for this fight. Imavov's 8,900. Allen is 7,300. Let's go our prop bets here. Fight goes to decision. It's a 50-50 fight. Goes whether it finishes or not. Monk, you get this one first.
Well, I'm not a huge fan of either guy, to be quite honest. But I think the salaries are such that this is dog or pass. Where's the number here? Imavov scores I guess that's a 3-round fight. 87 points per win in 3-round fight. I guess that's his average, whether it's 3 or 5. So he's not scoring much at all. My concern is that Brendan Allen, when he loses, gives up 107, and Imavov, when he loses, gives up 117. Maybe those numbers are switched. Either way, they're big numbers. Yeah, I don't think Allen's not going to be able to do to Imavov what he did to probably Muniz, even Silva, Paul Craig. Imavov is tough. He's not going to give him the fight that Allen wants, and this is probably going to be a decision. I was kind of surprised when Imavov that he was able to do enough attritional damage to Jared Cannonier to have him looking like that in the 4th round after just 82 strikes. We didn't even hit triple digits, and Cannonier was a beaten man. I was quite surprised with that. I wasn't expecting that from Imavov. That said, I just don't think he scores well in a decision. Look, he KO'd Cannonier, 89 points. 5-round decision, 100 points. He's barely hitting 100 in a 5-rounder, and this is a 3-rounder. Allen, I don't know, man. I just think Imavov is not going to give Allen the fight that he wants. I'm picking Imavov, by decision. I think this one's boring.
I think Brendan Allen is going to take the fight that he wants. Yes, Imavov's not going to give it to him. Allen is that third dog I was talking about. Yes, he looked good against Cannonier last time out, who's way over 40, and I'm surprised he's still around. Yes. Remember when Nasruddin Imavov barely got by Roman Dolidze, and Dolidze hugged him for a while? and that was a split decision.
Unfortunately, because I was on Dolidze.
That did happen. There was another one. There was another grapple. What the hell fight am I thinking of? Now I got to pull up your fight stats real quick. Oh yeah, and Phil Hawes. I know it was years ago, but Phil Hawes took him down 4 times and controlled him. You better fucking have shored that up quick, fast, and in a goddamn hurry. And after the Phil Hawes fight, no more grapplers until the Dolidze fight, which is the other questionable one. After Phil Hawes, they gave him Ian Heinisch, Edmund Shabazian, Joaquin Buckley, Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, Roman Dolidze. Brendan Allen's a good grappler. We've seen this. Nasruddin Imavov has to stop takedowns to win this fight. And Brendan Allen has rolled off a 7-fight win streak. Yes, I know he lost to Chris Curtis, but Andre Muniz, that win's impressive. Bruno Silva's impressive. Paul Craig, not as impressive, quite honestly. But Paul Craig was impressive in the fact that Paul Craig was a giant for middleweight. So a little bit for whatever that's worth, it's not just Paul Craig, it's middleweight Paul Craig. And then Chris Curtis got that back. Split decision, was a close fight. Chris Curtis got good takedown defense. I don't know if Nasruddin Imavov has that kind of takedown defense. And until I see it, I ain't picking it. I'm going to pick Allen straight up for those reasons, regardless. Also, Vegas opened this at plus 150. People are betting on Imavov. Definitely not quite there. On top of that, even if you're on Imavov, like Monk said, how does he really score? Allen's got an upside here. Give me Allen. I mean, either way, Allen is the better DraftKings play, but I'm going to take him straight out. Do you think he is kill shot worthy?
Allen,
it's too chalky. It's the co-main event. Is it too chalky? I feel like Imavov's going to be more popular because he's the one getting bet up.
There's 14 fights. I think it's good.
Cool. I'll throw an honorable mention out there as well when we get there. But for now, we got to talk Benoit Saint-Denis taking on Renato Moicano.
Money Moicano.
BSD minus 275. Moicano plus 235. Your DraftKings salaries for this one: BSD 9,000, Moicano 7,200. Fight ends inside the distance minus 600. Under 2.5 rounds is minus 210. I guess I am first for this one, and I'm on the favorite here. As much as I love Money Moicano, I can't take him here. Both guys bring violence. Taking the guy at home, Moicano is a live dog for sure, but I think BSD gets his takedowns, brings the violence, and is able to keep this fight where he wants it and get a finish. Cash games, you either stack this fight or you don't play either side. My preference right now is probably to stack it up. I don't think you pick one or the other. I think there's too much variance in a minus 600 fight ends inside the distance prop fight to really be super strong on one side or the other for cash games. GPPs, I'm going to go ahead and say, go ahead and just slam this in every one of your lineups. This is a main event I'm playing fucking everywhere over 5 rounds. Because if BSD wins, I think it's quick and big. And if Moicano wins, I don't really care. It's got 5 rounds. Do it however you want at that point. So they're past the victory to me. This is a fight I want all parts of, and I am on the BSD side. Monk, I saw you making a few faces. What you got different?
What was I making? Because I don't mind BSD in cash. That was the only thing I have different.
Solo, by himself.
Yes, correct. I think he's going to
too variant. I think there's safer guys at the top. Like I like safety.
I agree, but I the one cash lineup I built has Charriere, Perez, and BSD in it, and I really freaking like it.
Right.
I think so. I think it's you can get different with it a little bit. It's probably. I mean, I was gonna say recency bias against Moicano and against Saint-Denis, both for opposite reasons, but I don't think you can say that with the line currently what it is. Look, man, Moicano is only in this position because Jalen Turner stopped fighting. He stopped fighting. Do you think BSD would ever in a million years stop fighting? No. So I don't see it. BSD it's too aggressive. He took that L. He's at home. He wants to come back. He's doing things different. Hopefully, money Moicano fights don't generally go to decision. For the most part, I mean, some of them do, but a lot of them finish inside the distance for sure, both wins and losses. So yeah, I think BSD can get this done first round, second round. I think he's going to score very well. Moicano can be taken down. He can be controlled, as we've seen in the RDA fight. What did RDA do? He landed like one takedown a round and then just controlled him for the entire round. That's exactly what BSD can do here. He's going to be raining down shots as well, so we get those non-significant strike points. I think he scores very well in the win. Obviously, Moicano does too. I'll be playing both of them in GPPs, not stacking, but I'm not stacking this one in cash. I just think whoever wins is going to shut the other one's game down completely. Moicano wins. What's that look like? It's probably maybe fluky, so he doesn't score very well, just gets the bonus plus some other points. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he wins a decision. So, yeah, give me BSD. He's my preferred play in all formats.
All right, that's what we got. We broke down all 14 fights. Now we got to talk kill shots. Let's go to the 2-man box here. If you don't know what a kill shot is, first, welcome to the show. But we give somebody, we go under own play to help you win on DraftKings. Got to be usually cheap, at least if it's going to be a favorite. It's got to be way, like, no one's going to play them. Like, tell me, like, Jacqueline Cavalcanti is going to win you a GPP, or tell me, I don't know, tell me, like, Taylor Lapilus is going to win you a GPP. Someone's going to win you a GPP. Be typically a dog. And we like the upsets. So, real quick, before we give them out, hit the like button, join DFS Army, get all the access, get your access to all the tools, resources, all the good stuff I've mentioned throughout this show, and I will see you in the Discord. For me, I already said it earlier, I'm going Brendan Allen as my kill shot, and if I had to give a honorable mention, you want to say Brendan Allen's going to be too chalky because he's in the co-main event, probably be Nora Cornolle because people keep underestimating her. That would be my second. Monk, who you got?
I like those. I don't like a lot of dogs this week, but we'll give Kevin Jousset as the official kill shot. He's just there as far as salary at 7,700. Nobody's going to be on him. So that's the official. But I mean, the honorable mention, as you said.
How are you not going Woon Jung?
Woon Jung, honorable mention. There we go.
All right. I think that should be your official. Regardless, so guys, that's who we got for UFC Paris. We'll see you in the Discord and see you next week. Monk, you got anything before we get out of here?
No, I'm done for this week, man. Looking forward. Who do we got next week? I don't even know. I'm just glad to have fights back. We had an off week, then we had like a pay-per-view, then we had an off week. It just completely messed me up. I hated that. Next week is I think it's 307 next week. You're right. Pay-per-view. Yeah. Pereira Roundtree. Oh, there we go. That's I think that's next week. Yeah, it is. We got like 12 fights, I think. At least now we do, as of now. So should be a good one, guys. Join us for that. Subscribe to the channel or wherever you're listening to this podcast. But for now, we will see you next time. Good luck in those contests. Show us the screenshot winners on Twitter. Follow Monk at Monkmatics.
I'm Sniper Wins. Good luck. We'll see you next time.